Venom will never not be a fun topic. In the future, he seems to just get better and better. I'm Adam Andrews with Top 10 Nerd, and this is the top 10 alternate future versions of Venom. Number 10, Contest of Champions. Venom is the antithesis to Peter Parker when you think about it. I read somewhere, I can't remember where, that Venom is essentially what happens when someone acquires great power without possessing the great responsibility to keep it in check. And I like that. The two have an epic rivalry, but in Contest of Champions, yes, the Marvel fighting game, fans were introduced to a Venom from an alternate Earth that had managed to finally take down his first host and number one enemy, Spider-Man. He went a little crazy off the victory over his longtime adversary and took the Spider-Man suit from Spider-Man's body and started to wear it around his neck as a tiny little cape. It's almost kind of cute, if not a little horrifying. He is a Venom that ultimately completed his number one goal. He's living life as a fully realized Venom, just thriving. You go, Venom. You go. Number 9, Mech Venom. I'm not entirely sure that this is a future world, but the technology would suggest so. In an alternate reality Earth, 14512, a reality of giant robots and giant morbid monsters, the armored hero SP-4-4-DR, or Penny Parker, fights for peace and justice. Seeking to replicate the success of the SP-4-4-DR mech, the Venom, which is spelled V.E.N./M suit, is created. That's really confusing. Oh well. Combining a biomechanical sim engine with bleeding edge robotics. Get it? Sim engine? Like symbiote? Nice. Wordplay. Ultimately, during a crisis with the Morbius kaiju, the suit goes rogue, very rogue, and assimilates its pilot, young Addie Brock, plus Penny's Aunt May. The suit becomes a frightening, downright unstoppable threat to the world. Venom is a threat all on its own before it becomes a giant mech suit, so this is pretty bad. Number 8, more robots. Speaking of giant robotic mechs, in Megamorphs, Marvel's seriously obvious attempt to sell some toys, Iron Man recruited heroes such as Spider-Man, the Hulk, and Ghost Rider to aid him in battling the forces of evil using giant, eerily Transformer-like robots. Each of these giant robots, that also kind of remind me of Power Rangers, is unique to and powered by each hero. Unfortunately, villains got their hands on the tech as well that created the mechs, and a few have their own. Bet you can't guess who has one. Yes, obviously it's Venom. God, you read the title? Dr. Doom recruits a team of villains to jump into their own giant robots to fight the do-gooders. And Venom pilots the Spider Smasher, a massive robot similar in style and color scheme to Venom with cool Venom-based abilities. It can also transform to be more spider-like as well. When it first shows up, it does battle with the Thing, almost losing before it makes its escape. Number 7, Old Man Hawkeye / Logan. Old Man Logan is an insanely graphic and fresh take on the Marvel Universe. It's set in a post-apocalyptic America where the villains of the Marvel Universe coordinated a simultaneous attack on the heroes orchestrated by none other than the Red Skull. There's a gang of Jewish Hulks, a giant skeleton of Loki crushed by the Baxter Building, old versions of superheroes and supervillains, and a Venom symbiote bonded with a T-Rex from the Savage Land. Even though this Venom only showed up for a little brief moment in the Old Man Logan storyline, Venom Rex instantly became a fan favorite character, which meant we got to see how this came to be in the follow-up, or I guess the prequel, Old Man Hawkeye. In this story, we see a Venom who bonds to the Madrox gang, who have kind of separated from James Madrox, sort of, but not really. Doesn't really matter. But after Venom bonded to the Madrox, they now use their power to duplicate themselves into an army of Venoms vowing to track down Hawkeye, who had stuck the other Madrox members with plenty of arrows. An army of Venoms chasing you across the country would be pretty terrifying. After hunting down Clint to Kate Bishop's sanctuary, the two heroes led the Venom army into the wilds where it reduced its number, but then a random T-Rex from the Savage Land attacked the symbiote? I don't know. If you read Old Man Logan, you know that this is the exact same Tyrannosaurus that attacks Logan and Clint. And now, we've come full circle. Number 6. More of the same? And we return to Wolverine Old Man Logan, the same series as the previously mentioned T-Rex, except 15 years later and in the Edge of Venomverse 4, where things are now decidedly worse for the feral hero. The baby Hulk Logan took from the Hulk gang, Banner Jr., grew up a bit, and after Logan told him what happened to his family, the little Hulk beat the snot out of Logan. After Archangel, Banner Jr., and Ashley Barton capture Logan in the danger room of the X-Men mansion, they unveil that dang venomized T-Virus T-Rex yet again is alive. Logan is able to defeat Ashley, but when he attempts to take on the Venomsaurus Rex, that's what I'm gonna call it, he instead finds himself leaping down its throat. Banner Jr. is mid-celebration when suddenly the symbiote changes sides, de-bonds from the T-Rex, and takes over Logan. Logan escapes the beast as his Venom self and goes after his 2 captures. He defeats Archangel, and then just as he's about to finish off Banner Jr., he claims he can't, and that he kept the truth of his family from him because he loves him like a son, all while a portal randomly appears, bringing this Venom Wolverine face to face with the Venom Captain America of the Resistance in the Edge of Venomverse story arc. Number 5, 2099. The Earth of Spider-Man 2099 is pretty awesome. Cyberpunk themes, President Doom, Miguel O'Hara as Spider-Man with the awesome suit. It shouldn't be any surprise that the Venom of 2099 is just as awesome and kind of scary. So long that it has evolved to have new abilities like acid blood and spit. This version of the symbiote bonded itself to Kron Stone, the son of Tyler Stone and the elder half-brother of Miguel O'Hara, bringing Venom and the Spider-Man even closer than their modern day equivalents. The symbiote first appears when it tries to kill Tyler in the hospital, and that is when Spider-Man intervenes. The fight goes on for a long time, like several issues long, with Venom even taking Spider-Man's former lovers. After Miguel learnt of Venom's weakness to sound, sonic sounds were emitted all over the city, stunning Venom, allowing Spider-Man to beat him, revealing Krom's identity. Later, the symbiote would merge with Roman the Submariner and flee to the ocean. Wow. Number 4, Alea Bell. Kron Stone isn't the only person to bond to the Venom symbiote in the world of 2099. Alea Bell had an injury on her left arm that she got in a terrible accident as a child. Now, as a teenager, the corporation Alchemax had Alea undergo an experimental treatment that would fix her disfigurement. Only, what she didn't know is that Alchemax had actually bonded her with a piece of the Venom symbiote and had intended to make her a super soldier. Just like the Venom everyone loves, Alea pleaded with the symbiote to become a hero with their abilities instead of being a monster and eating people. Venom agreed, but the pair start receiving dark visions of the symbiote god Null still being alive on Earth. Number 3, Venom as an acronym. Earth 138 is one of many realities that is shown to us in the Spider-Verse event. The President of the United States in this reality is Norman Osborn, who is also still the CEO of Oscorp. And what do you know? Oscorp in this reality also created Venom, as in V.E.N.O.M, like an acronym, which stands for Variable Engagement Neurosensitive Organic Mesh, so it's a bioweapon, one that President Osborn gives to his lackeys. Even he himself dons the dark creation, so we have an army of Venom-powered soldiers led by a Venom-powered President Norman Osborn. But who opposes this government Venom villain army? Well, this is the story where we get Spider-Punk and all his followers. Fighting for the beliefs, the Spider Army is a group of punks ready to stand their ground, and Spider-Man is their punk rock leader. Unfortunately for Osborn, their V.E.N.O.M is just as weak to sound as the Venom we all know and love, and we are shown this when Spider-Punk plays his electric guitar at full volume, completely blasting away the symbiotes as the two groups clash. Heck yeah. Number 2, Earth X. Earth 999, a world where basically every single person has powers. Things have gone apocalyptic, and the daughter of Peter Parker, May Parker, is in possession of the Venom symbiote. While her retired and cynical pops ain't too thrilled about it, she does actually have complete control over the symbiote thanks to her advanced and honed spider sense. She was eventually under the control of this kid going by the name of Red Skull, and thanks to her father and other Earth X classic heroes, she was saved. Venom and her father, Spider-Man, go on to join the superpowered police force and fight crime and supervillain threats together. She eventually, after the death of Death, goes on to be recruited by Kang the Conqueror as part of a multiversal team to fight the Apocalypse Twins. In addition to her proportional spider powers plus the enhanced spider sense, she gains all the usual symbiote powers plus a few extra, like what seems to be a rudimentary form of telepathy. And 'tis believed her symbiote could go on to mutate further to gain more powers, which is a good way for Marvel to say, we can do whatever we want with this. She's definitely one of the cooler incarnations of Venom. Number 1, Rain. 35 years have passed. Spider-Man is an old, retired man. Mary Jane Watson has passed away. New York is under the control of dictator Mayor Waters and his police force called Rain. But unbeknownst to most, it was actually Venom who had been pulling the strings, taking the position of aide to the mayor in the body of the cowardly Edward Sachs. This version of Venom is much more brooding, maniacal, and downright dastardly than his mainline counterpart, plotting and scheming for years for the eventual return of his rival Spider-Man. Venom is a bitter, old symbiote ever since Spider-Man retired, feeling abandoned by the hero, and he cannot wait to get his hands back on him. He has replicated himself thousands of times, put together the Sinister Six, and has trapped the citizens of New York and the city with his security system known as Web, all for the eventual return of his nemesis. All that, and he is still defeated at the end of the comic. Or is he? Alrighty, looks like we have reached the end. Parting is such sweet sorrow, but it needn't be. Let us know in the comments any ideas you have for future videos. Hit that like button and subscribe here at Top 10 Nerd, and I am sure we shall see each other one more time. But until then, I have been Adam Andrews. You can find my socials in the description below, and until next time, peace out, nerds. Farewell!